Hi there, today I would like to tell you about the television character, the Crimson Chin. Then I will be sharing with you some hiking and tips for traveling on foot. You may skip to hiking and travel with the timer in the description section below. Voiced by Jay Leno and Timmy Turner's favorite superhero in the American cartoon Fairly Odd Parents, I bring you the Crimson Chin. Who is the Crimson Chin? He is a late night talk show host who got bitten. This bite turned out to be radioactive, and so the Crimson Chin inherited chin powers to defend people. Oddly enough, there was once a teenager called by the name the Crimson Chin to nickname her after her serious overbite that she was born with. Her real name is Saffron Corcoran and is a nationwide beauty queen. Now back to the cartoon character, the Crimson Chin, who is a comic book character that lives in the city of Cincinnati, protecting his universe from a variety of metal-like, body part-themed villains. Villains such as Bronze Kneecap, who is the arch-enemy of the Crimson Chin, and the founder of the Body of Evil. Therefore, the Crimson Chin utilizes his chin powers to protect his universe from Bronze Kneecap and the Body of Evil. My opinion of the Crimson Chin is that he is a character that never seems to do enough. It is like you want to pull something out of him, but he just will not do what you want him to do. Or maybe he can just not figure out what I want him to do. Now for some hiking and traveling, because that's about all I have on that cartoon character for today. Before I get started on this, I feel like I should let you know that I do not have a PowerPoint presentation here to show you today. So I plan to create my hiking story again in the future. This video is more about just tips for hiking and traveling in general. One thing that does concern me is that I do not want you to get the impression that I am advocating for traveling on foot, as many of these tips are exclusive for this type of scenario. However, since I am not the only one to get stuck outdoors like this, I do think that some people out there will find some of these tips useful for them. The first and most important thing is to figure out where you should go. Maybe you just left your ex, or got kicked out of college, or maybe you just lost your job, or any other number of reasons that you might end up stuck outside for a little while. Without a destination, the situation may feel completely helpless at first. One of the most important things for figuring out where you are and where you want to go, this may be the first thing on your mind in this scenario. However, it is important to consider the internet, as you can use services like Google Maps to plan coordinates, or if you do not have a phone, seek the closest public library, and from there you can find your coordinates on the computers. You might want to write them down on a piece of paper. Most public libraries can provide a writing tool and piece of paper for you. For picking a destination where you will be sleeping for the night, is important to consider. Some basic supplies for hiking in order from most important to least important. The first thing being water. Make sure you have enough for however far you plan on hiking. And the next big thing is food, of course. Then a hiking backpack designed for the job, usually with more straps and room to carry stuff in. A pocket knife with multiple tools built into it may also be very helpful to you. I actually do not have one myself right now, and I usually don't, so I'm not going to say that a pocket knife is absolutely necessary. Just something you might want to keep in mind. Some important items to stock up on are clothing, especially extra socks, jackets, or whatever is necessary for the environment where you live. Having only a tarp versus a tent is easier to pack because it weighs less and does not take much room. As far as packing space, a blanket to help you stay warm at night, then a toothbrush and toothpaste, body wash, and other hygiene products that you should need to help you with your trip. If you have one or more, you can obtain one is also a big deal for you to obtain a cell phone. is what I'm talking about. It is important for you to obtain a cell phone for communication in case of an emergency. Most cell phones have a flashlight equipped to them and also allow you to access the internet mobilely. Even if you cannot enter a business to use Wi-Fi, cell phones pick up Wi-Fi from the outside of a business that provide free internet if you're not sure how far you need to go until you need to rest. Resting whenever you feel like you have to for short breaks, shorter resting time can help you feel more energetic. The rest of this is going beyond simply hiking, delving into some hitchhiking as someone who has done this before. And again, recently, I would like to begin a story beginning in a situation where a person has nothing and not a clear destination yet as well. First, there is that supply list I just was talking about, and one of the first things that you should do is reach out to any friends or family that you may have. For this example, we will continue as if there are not any. A cell phone is always handy, even if it doesn't have any service, because finding a way to access the internet, to find a location and directions to the location, just like regular hiking for sport. Most public libraries can supply you with a pen and paper to use for writing things down. Areas with public bathrooms and a lot of passing traffic offer more ways of collecting smaller amounts of money, such as can collecting. Planning an area to sleep for the night is important as well. You probably do not want to leave the main circuit unless it is a travel to another sort of main place of traffic. Another thing that you might want to tag along is maybe a notebook and a pen, because keeping your brain stimulated is another way of sort of keeping yourself on the move. If you're walking a whole lot and you sit down for a few minutes, you might want to be activating your brain a little bit. So, writing things down. You could also using that for when you're planning your coordinates. If you don't have a cell phone or anything like that, it's especially important because you will need those utensils when doing that all the time as well. If you don't have a cell phone, at some point, if you could afford one, you should pick one up, because even if you don't plan on getting service on it, you could just afford the phone. It's probably going to work for you. Just so that you always have that accessibility. There's Google Maps and stuff like that on the phone, on cell phones. Yeah, another good tip there, as you're traveling, if you are traveling from circuit to circuit, remaining on the highways and not just walking, but if hitchhiking is legal in your state, you want to be holding your thumb out to, as long as you're on the right side of the road to where you're going. Just simply turn towards traffic and put your thumb out. Don't be in their way or anything. You're not trying to stop them with a stop sign. You're just seeing if maybe you could get a ride to your next destination point. And someone might pick you up there. As I explained, finding somewhere to sleep for the night can be tricky, especially when you have to try to kind of stay near a bathroom. So planning your trips ahead of time is very important. It can be hard to do. Your environment can make things a little tricky, of course. And well, right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, COVID, of course. So there's actually, you shouldn't be doing this at all. By all means necessary. However, I'm in this position, so you might be, and therefore maybe you can go ahead and use these tips. I think if there's not much I forgot on the supply list there. As far as finding money, you might even have to hold the sign up at some point. Holding a sign up can also help you get rides. So getting things like a Sharpie and things like that. You could usually find extra Sharpies and things like super glue if you want to pack super glue at Dollar Trees and things like that, just smaller convenient stores. Another good reason to plan that out. You don't want to be spending your money in more expensive spots, of course. So do buy cheap. There is usually, I would say, hot food at places like 7-Eleven. That's pretty cheap. You get a whole pizza usually for around $7 or $8. And And there are of course other places as well that will give you pretty cheap deals on food. As far as packing food, things just like kind of like sugar and maybe fruit. You want maybe some spoons so that you could pick up some ice cream every now and then, unless you just want to buy a milk carton. You probably don't want to drink too much milk while you're hiking and things like that. It's more about the proteins and things of that nature. That's about all I have for this video today. Please go ahead and like my video if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to my channel for more content. And yeah, I'll catch you later. I also have a Patreon down below. And yeah, that's about all for today. Bye.